Grounding in the chaos. Moving from waiting for calm to finding center. Welcome back inside the grounded circle. We have covered so much over these last several episodes. We've talked about the myth of having it all. We've talked about the pressure of always being the strong one. We've talked about boundaries and leaning and learning the art of the gentle no. We've talked about the ambition and redefining success in a way that doesn't require us to sacrifice ourselves. And today, as we close out this series, I want to talk about something that ties all of those conversations together. How do we stay anchored when life feels like it's constantly moving? How do we find peace when the calendar is full? How do we stay connected to ourselves when everyone and everything around us needs something? Because the truth is, life is always not going to slow down for us. There will always be another deadline, another responsibility, another unexpected challenge, another season that requires us to adapt. And for a long time, many of us have believed that we will finally feel grounded when things calm down. And so we think, once this project ends, I'll have more time. Once the kids get older, life will feel easier. Once I get through this busy season, then I'll focus on myself. But what happens when one busy season ends and another one begins? What happens when we spend our entire lives waiting for the perfect moment to finally take care of ourselves? The truth is, we cannot always control the chaos around us, but we can learn how to create calm within ourselves. Being grounded doesn't mean your life is perfectly organized. It doesn't mean you never feel overwhelmed. It doesn't mean you have figured everything out. Being grounded means that even when life feels uncertain, you know how to return to yourself. You know how to find your center. And I think that is such an important distinction. Because sometimes we look at people who seem calm and think they must have a life without stress. But that's usually not the case. The difference is not that they experience less chaos. The difference is that they have learned how to move through chaos differently. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I am not perfectly grounded 24/7. I wish I could say I wake up every morning completely centered, peaceful, and ready for anything. But that's not reality. I am a human being. I am a mom. I am someone balancing responsibilities, dreams, relationships, and all the unexpected moments life brings. Now, just last week, there was a morning where everything seemed to happen at once. I couldn't find my keys. The kids were running late. The morning felt rushed. And then because apparently the universe wanted to add one more thing to the list, the coffee pot spilled. And in that moment, I felt it. That familiar feeling. That rising sense of chaos. The frustration. The feeling of, why does everything have to happen at the same time? And honestly, my first instinct was to let that moment take over the entire day. To carry that frustration with me. To allow one difficult morning to become a difficult day. But instead, I stopped. I literally sat down on the kitchen floor for 30 seconds and I took a breath. I gave myself a moment to reset. And that 30 seconds didn't magically fix everything. The keys still needed to be found. The kids still needed to get where they needed to go. The coffee still needed to be cleaned up. But something changed. I changed. I stopped reacting and gave myself the opportunity to respond. And that is what grounding does. It creates space between what happens and how we choose to move through it. Presence is a practice. It is not something that magically appears when life becomes easier. It is something we intentionally create. It is something we invite into our everyday moments. And sometimes presence looks very simple. It looks like taking 3 deep breaths before you walk into a meeting. It looks like putting your phone away for an hour so you can truly be present at dinner. It looks like listening to someone you love without thinking about the next thing on your to-do list. It looks like taking a moment in the morning with your coffee before the demands of the day begin. It looks like noticing the beauty in the ordinary moments, the laughter from your kids, the quiet of the morning, the feeling of sunshine coming through the window. Even when the house is messy, even when the laundry isn't folded, even when life isn't perfectly organized, because life is happening right now, not someday when everything is finally under control. And I think that is one of the biggest lessons of becoming grounded. We stop waiting for perfect circumstances to start living intentionally. We learn how to bring intention into the circumstances we already have. Here is the grounded challenge for you this week. It's very simple. I want you to create one grounded ritual. And I want to emphasize something. This does not have to be complicated at all. It does not have to be an hour of meditation. It does not have to require a perfect morning routine, because honestly, for many of us, that is not realistic. A grounded ritual can be 5 quiet minutes with your coffee before the day begins. It can be stepping outside and taking a short walk without distractions. It can be writing down 3 things you are grateful for. It can be sitting in your car for a moment before walking into your next responsibility. Whatever it is, let it become your anchor. A reminder that you can always return to yourself. Because when life speeds up, we need something that helps us to slow down. When everything feels uncertain, we need something that reminds us who we are. When we feel pulled in every direction, we need a place to come back home to. And that place is within us. As we close this series, I want you to recognize something. The work of unlearning is not about becoming a completely different person. It is about releasing the things that were never meant to define you. The pressure, the perfection, the constant proving, the belief that you have to do everything and be everything. You are allowed to move through life with more intention. You are allowed to create a life that feels meaningful, not just productive. And you are allowed to pursue your purpose while still honoring yourself along the way. Thank you for being part of the Grounded Circle. Thank you for taking this time to reflect, to question, and to begin creating a more intentional way of living. This is only the beginning. Until next time, stay grounded, honor your journey, and remember, you do not have to wait for life to become calm in order to find your center. You can find your grounding right in the middle of the chaos.